everybody. As you know, the topic of this show is health, and we have another incredible guest for you. Miss Gina Eubank. She is an award-winning pharmacist and has been dubbed America's favorite pharmacist, with more than 2 decades of experience helping thousands of people improve their lives. Her deep knowledge has earned her a regular spot on CBS's Great Day Houston, where she appears as an expert guest. Gina is an integrative health expert. She's also the founder and owner of Living Nutrilicious, a system and methodology designed to heal both body and mind, delivering a full spectrum life worth living. Gina's work emerges from her own experience in banishing a debilitating brain tumor she had carried for a decade. In December 2003, she reset her life using shifts in diet and a transformation in life vision. She emerged tumor-free 9 months later. Today, she serves as a navigator, helping people see a roadmap and life goals. With Living Nutrilicious, Gina simplifies complex health and well-being issues into everyday terms. Gina, thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the AskBonBon Show.
Oh, thank you, Bonnie. I'm very honored to be here.
So, wow, you have a very incredible story. Can you tell our viewers just a little bit about your journey and how you overcame having a brain tumor and some of the work that you do now?
Certainly. It all started, I had a defining moment, literally, December 13th, 2003, where, at this point, the doctors, they had told me I was facing brain surgery, and I was on 11 prescription drugs. And oftentimes with prescriptions, it will start out with one, and before you know it, you're on multiple prescriptions due to all the side effects. So I was divorced at the time. I was literally in flannel jammies, had carpal tunnel syndrome, migraine, bent over the sink, and vomiting in the sink. And I went to take a sip of water from a glass, and I couldn't feel the glass in my hand from the carpal tunnel syndrome, and I dropped it, and it shattered on the tile. And I just crumpled on the floor and just started sobbing. And I picked up the pieces of glass, and I couldn't feel it, and my hands were bleeding. And I just sobbed harder because I literally thought, this is where my life has come to. And at that moment, I could have given in. And instead, I thought, I'm clearly going to have to figure this out myself. Somehow, I'm going to have to figure this out and not have brain surgery. Because to me, brain surgery was not an option until I knew I had exhausted every single resource. And that really began the journey of Living Nutrilicious. And I did copious research because with it being a pharmacist, science and logic and processing information has played a very huge role in my life. And so I started that journey. And the first place I started was with nutrition. I started juicing and doing Vitamix and, of course, thoughts. Thoughts are a huge part of it. I did visualization therapy of seeing, the tumor every time I went to the restroom, like it just going away. I'd flush the commode, boom, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya, and I moved through it that way.
I love that you say that. We recently did a show and we had a triple amputee on, and he had a similar sentiment saying that, at one point you hit this moment where you realize, okay, this is up to me. This is my life. I have to move forward. And, things that would seem insurmountable to most people, you just made a decision to overcome. That's truly incredible.
Well, thank you, because it really does come down to, okay, these are the conditions, these are the circumstances. Who am I going to be in this moment? Am I going to give in, or am I going to move forward and pull myself by a vision and create a life I would love living? Because I thought there's no way this is going to be it. This can't be it. I've come too far.
I love that. Oh, no, you didn't, life.
That's right. Not going down this way.
Good. So fast forward, obviously now you've made a big transformation and you've overcome, and you are now working teaching other people, about health and about nutrition. So what are some of the stories that you can share with some of the people that you have also helped transform?
Okay. One of a key one that I really love is there's a lady. Her name is Sue, and she came down with viral pancreatitis, and her husband is a surgeon, and so they had been to the best doctors and trying to help her, and they couldn't figure it out. And she literally was on IVs at home. Uh, she was down to 112 pounds, 5'7". I mean, couldn't keep food down, in excruciating pain. And we started working together. And I mean, I kept her from going in the hospital. She called me on a Thursday night, and I went over to her house. We guns blazing, and all these supplements and juicing, and just started her on the journey. And I mean, literally within, a couple days, she was already doing better, able to keep juices down. Her pain had subsided. Within a month, I mean, the doctors were in shock looking at her blood work. And we spoke a lot, and she kept a journal, and it was detailed, and but it was really great because it taught her an awareness that has spilled over to her entire family, because they saw her healing journey. And in 3 months, I mean, she was fine, completely fine, blood levels, enzymes for her pancreas completely normal. And the part that I love so much about this story is, her husband came around to a way of thinking, because he's in Western medicine. So it was really great for him to see that, and the other doctors to see that. But also, she has a little daughter, and her daughter is 3.5 years old now. And because of Living Nutritious and the principles of Living Nutritious, which is not only nutrition, but other principles, her daughter has never been on an antibiotic, and which is huge. I mean, in today's world, that's unheard of. A child that goes to daycare or interacts with other children, for them to not be on an antibiotic ever.
That is fantastic. And I believe you can do so much. We actually know each other through the Anthony Robbins companies and through those travels. And for many years, almost 10 years, I was on the road and toured and went to all of his different events in different countries, and I never once got sick. Even though you were jet lagged, you were on flights, and everyone would always say, oh, every time I fly, I get sick. And I just had a belief system that, no, that's not true. I eat clean. I didn't drink a lot. I drank tons of water. So it's great to hear that those principles can be applied to children as well, and that they can, go out, because I know that all of my nieces and friends that have children, you're right, the babies always have a runny nose or an earache, and it's just really powerful to hear that just by nutrition alone that you can shift that and you can get a different result.
Well, and it's nutrition, and I'm not saying she doesn't ever get a runny nose, but the point is we can stop it in its tracks, right, when it's just merely a few little symptoms before it turns into where antibiotics are needed or anything like that. So through juicing, nutrition, Epsom salt baths, essential oils, it's nipped in the bud. The other interesting thing that you mentioned, traveling on the road with Tony Robbins during that 10-year period. I don't know if you are aware, but 2004, that's when Damon, my husband, and I, that's when we traveled also and went on 13 trips. And that was during the time when I was doing my healing, my Living Nutritious journey. So, I was taking my show on the road, the healing, so it threw in another component to the healing of, okay, I've got to have my greens, I've got to have my raw almonds, just really getting organized and structured about making health truly a priority and keeping those rituals in place that you do on a daily basis to set that health thermostat each day and your emotional thermostat each day. So you're not a thermometer responding to the external. You've set your own mojo and you stay there, right?
Fantastic. Very well said. So we have just a couple more minutes. What are a couple of tips that you want to leave viewers with that they can use, to start implementing into their life?
I am a big fan of rituals. setting yourself up before you even walk out of the house. And because that's part of living Nutritious, what I was saying about the emotional thermostat. So in the morning, I wake up and before I even put a foot on the ground, I write in my gratitude journal. And I don't just write it, I truly feel it in my heart center. So it's really, truly there. So it radiates energy out. Then I come up a list of 10, and then I come up with a list of 5 of how I am going to be. Who am I going to be for the day? 5 things. And I like to use my fingers because then in the day, I can think of the 10 things I'm grateful. So I have the visual reminder of what I'm grateful for, and then I have the 5 fingers to remind me of who I'm going to be during that day. The other thing is when I leave the house, I also realize everything that happens, I decide the meaning of what happens to it. So all I control is how I show up in the world, and my emotion, my reaction, and nothing is bad unless I choose to see it as bad. So that's how I navigate it. And if something does happen that is kind of bad, I hit the pause button and I think, okay, what can I find that's good in this moment? And sometimes it's like, well, I'm breathing, we're alive, da da da, and then you build from there. But the point is you stay in a place of gratitude. The other one that is a big one for me is setting my health thermostat. So I start out in the morning and I make a green drink. And there's a brand that I like is Numedica Greens, and it gives me 20 servings of fruits and vegetables, and that sets me up to win, and I'm good to go for the day. And that's another point that I want to bring up about living Nutrilicious is this is a methodology and a system that is a resource for people. So it's not a website that you go to one time and you get the information and then you're done, because I put content up there that talks about different disease states. Also, it talks about other resources. There's a Living Nutrilicious criteria that I have where we evaluate products, we evaluate like juicers and vitamins and supplements, but also movies and books and things that give you life, because that's the whole point of living Nutrilicious. Is it's seeking out life-giving activities and people and relationships, and then it spills over to your professional life and into, of course, your personal and your love life and your family, your friends. I mean, it really is a way of living.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. That's really great advice and really great, places to start. So, Gina, thank you so much for being here on the AskBonBon Show. As you know, we're all about having real conversations about what matters most, and I believe that nothing matters more than your health. We talked about with our previous guests that people will spend any amount of money or any amount of time or energy to get back their health that they lose it. So thank you for sharing such an amazing and powerful message. And we're just so excited to have guests and resources like you. And we hope to have you back on a future episode.
Okay. Thank you, Bonnie, so much. Have a great evening.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This has been the AskBonBon Show, and we will see you on the next episode. Bye for now.